wish I knew how to quit eating bugs.
This seems so weird.
There's no place like home.
I'm gonna make him an offer down with you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to a special edition of Gone with the Wind. You had a special edition a couple weeks ago with SAG Reactions. Now you're getting a special edition, Sundance Report, as I'd like to call it. So grab your cup of coffee or your tea or just some water. Either one, or whatever beverage of your choice is, because we're going to be discussing all things Sundance. And we are live again, and I'm realizing we're going to probably be doing live for a little bit, because just for this time of year, it's getting really busy with work and whatnot, and it's easy to get it out. Plus, we can get some great interaction. And that interaction comes with some of our new special guest panelists. Well, not new, they're kind of returning. Dylan and Chad. Welcome, y'all, welcome back to Gone with the Wind.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Dylan, tell us a little bit about where y'all are from, for those who may not know.
Yeah. So I'm located in New York. I call myself an aspiring critic. I have a channel where I just do a bunch of movie reviews and different shows. I do a show with Chad, which Dan guested on recently. And this year, Sundance being virtual was such a great opportunity, because usually the only film fest I get around to is New York Film Fest, because that's the only one around me. So it was great to just be able to get the flavor of Sundance, because usually that's one of the most exciting festivals, because there's no buzz whatsoever. You go in and basically say, oh, I know that director, I know that actor, and you kind of pick your movies that way. And then as the festival trickles on, you hear word of mouth and you say, oh, that one sounded good, I'll get a ticket for that. Or it's sold out and you have to wait for awards, and hopefully there will be a ticket available. But yeah, it was a really, really exciting festival. So I was glad to have that virtual experience and to just get to talk about movies way in advance before these come out. Some of them may not even come out till 2023, and we get the head start, we get the scoop. So that's pretty cool. You're muted, Manny.
I knew that was going to happen once. It's kind of like a running joke at this point of me muting myself, but I know it was going to happen. What I was saying is, you're right, Dylan, there are movies from 2021 Sundance that still haven't even come out yet. Right. So that's telling. But Chad, tell us a little more about yourself as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm Chad. I hail from Maryland. I met Dill through a kind of a critic we follow, Dan Merle, and we talk a lot in his Discord. We formed a show on his channel. I have my own channel too, where I rank stuff, but it's nothing as large as Dill's is, and I hope his takes off, because he's got a lot of great content over there. For me, I mainly just screw around with trivia and the Schmodown fan leagues and a lot of that stuff. It's interesting, because this was actually my first anything festival, anything. I've been an Oscars fan, a film fan, for quite a while, but it being virtual, I just kind of the last couple times I think it was virtual, it was I was I don't even know how to do it. Am I, a film festival person even? And then, finally, Dylan was going to do it. And then he was talking about, and another friend I have who does all of them was well, we're going to jump into it and, get some stuff. And here's the films that we're interested in. And I was like, all right, let's just do it. So I just said, screw it. And I, went and just bought a bunch of single tickets, because it was cheaper than doing a lot of the big packages, because I think they upped their costs. And so I bought 10 of them, and then I ended up adding one of them later, because of buzz and stuff. And I had a pretty great time with it. I look forward to doing it a lot more every year, and maybe do some of the other ones, maybe New York Film Festival, stuff like that at some point. But yeah, I had a blast with Sundance this year.
And then rounding out our East Coast panel, because we're all East Coasters over here, so East Coast represent. Dan, we all know who you are, but give us a brief overview of your Sundance, what it was like.
Yeah, I did it last year with Manning and me. We had this whole thing going on last year, ones that I saw that he didn't see, the ones that he saw that I, Coda being one of the ones that I didn't see. And it was one of those ones, it was damn, I want to strangle Manning because you got to see that. Not that I'm going to, but it's what. And then I saw, the one with Daniel Kaluuya and all, and he didn't see that because he screwed up with the whole
The time
thing.
window, Judas and the
Yeah.
Black
Judas
Messiah.
and the Black Messiah. And then
So that
passing, he
hour
didn't see,
window.
but he's seen passing since, and he's loved it. And we've had that had kind of fun time, and that's what you do with Sundance in a lot of the way. You kind of, you saw that, oh cool, I didn't see
Yeah.
that. How was that? I don't whatever. I ended up seeing only 6 this year, and I saw what Chad did, 11 last year. Money was short this year, so I couldn't see as many as I wanted to, but I think I got 6 really good ones. I'm proud of the 6 that I saw. I wish I could have seen about 4 more, but what are you gonna do?
It gets expensive really quick.
Yeah, well, it was $15
Yeah.
a ticket last year. This year it's $20 a ticket.
Yep.
Dang it, man!
Inflation.
So, but I'm gonna live vicariously through you guys and telling me all about the ones that you saw that I didn't have a chance to see, and hopefully I can just share some light on the ones that I did see.
Yeah. And for me, myself, as Dan was talking about last year, I kind of just, the fact that was their first year virtual, which I work for WFMY News too, and I'm not an official critic, but I kind of have put something off. Like I've kind of raised up something, created something called News 2 Reviews for WFMY News 2 in Greensboro, North Carolina. And I was able to get accredited as press this past year for this year. So it gave me a lot of options, but trying to do that and work at the same time, I've noticed is very difficult when you also need sleep and also have a social life. And it's like, wow, when you're in Sundance, you are going to have to go hardcore. I was trying to get 20. I managed to get 18. So you know what?
Nice.
I call that a victory. I call that a victory.
Strategic napping is the key for Sundance.
Oh, no. As I said, coffee.
Sponsored by caffeine this episode.
Parks and Recreation specifically. Not really. We're not. But NBC, call us. For me, I think it's really awesome because what I tried to tell people at this news station where I work and tried to tell the audience, and when I reviewed some of these films, this is a lot more democratic in the sense of lowercase d democratic, of like, hey guys, this is a very communal experience. It's accessible. The exclusivity of film festivals is now turning into accessibility and allowing a larger audience, even if they don't do just online. I don't think they're ever going to do just online unless there's another pandemic, knock on wood, God no, in our lifetime anyway. Isn't it like what, every 100 years? When was that the Spanish flu? That was let's not go into it. Let's not think about the next 100 years.
We're movie buffs, not history buffs.
Exactly. Yeah. The 1918 Spanish influenza. I think that's what it is. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's really awesome what Sundance did. And to me, they are the premier way of festivals, even though this is my first official festival. From everything that I've seen and the complaints that I've seen on Film Twitter, on different places, the way they did this was fantastic. Not perfect, but like sets the bar on how things were done. And my experience was a very positive one. I found some ones that I really liked. I heard some great things about some other ones. Like 2 of my favorite films are from word of mouth this year. 2 that I were just like, maybe I would like this one. Yes, I will like this one. And I loved this one. So I think it was a really positive experience, and I find the online experience to be very fulfilling because it allows the average Joe or average Jane or average individual to be able to watch and view a film that may not have been seen by wide audiences yet, by making independent film more accessible. And I really appreciate that. So quickly before we get into them, how do y'all's experience go watching and viewing these films? Technical glitches possibly aside.
Yeah, I mean, the first night, I remember I didn't go to the first screening. I actually did the second screening of the Incredibly True Adventures of Two Girls in Love. I think I might be butchering that title, but it's an older film from the 90s. You can find it like on the Criterion channel, so it's like accessible. But it was a cool way to like test screen these movies. I remember the first screening, it glitched out. They weren't able to play the movie, and I remember that was like a big thing. And then the second day they got it all up and working, and that's when I think Chad and I watched it. Was that second day, the second screening of that movie. So I like that they do that little test screening and they make it free, so you can like still enjoy a movie, but also like you're the guinea pigs if anything fucks up. So it was really nice that they had that little trial, because then when I was watching, it was all smooth sailing. Like I didn't find many tech issues. The app itself, like every time I opened the app, it took like a minute to like kind of turn on and get going, but like everything else was very, easily communicated. I liked how it wasn't strict start times. There were premiere windows, but you had the time to watch them, which is something I didn't know. Like going in, Chad and I were like, oh wait, we got to schedule this differently because our movie starts at 8, but then it was like, oh, it's 8:30 and I can still start it now. Cool. So
that's great.
Yeah, it was really, really nice and accessible. I was able to watch some on my laptop upstairs in the privacy and really soak it all in. Some I watched with my family on the couch, on the TV. It was really nice just getting to watch it in all different types of forms and share it with other people in the house, and also just keep some for myself and just take my time with these movies like any other just on-demand service.
I'm just imagining, if I may interject, I'm just imagining you watching Fresh with the family now, and this
I
kind of
watched
like,
it with my mom. I watched it with my mom, and we had a blast.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we'll get into that later, but yeah, that was a fun one to share because it's one of those movies where it's like you want to turn to the person next to you and go, did that just happen?
Well, hopefully no spoilers, since that's one I didn't get to see.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
Oh no, I haven't seen it either. I just know from the buzz that I've heard, so don't worry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with Dill. I mean, I love that there was a lot of different options. Well, there was like 2. But yeah, you have the app, or you could go to the website and just like kind of cast it to your TV, and or just watch it directly on your laptop. And that's what I did. Actually, 3 of those things. One of the movies I actually just watched on my laptop. A few I actually casted to my TV, and then a bunch of them I just actually watched straight through the app. Unfortunately, I had a lot of Apple TV issues. I just got a new one, and I think I got to send that back. But fortunately, like if it started to act up when I was streaming one, it's not like I couldn't just, say, okay, screw it, and then just pop over to the computer, cast it, and then, it's not like once you start it, you can't do it another way or something like that. It's pretty seamless, I would say, and then just trying to get those voting codes to pop up at the ends, like, come on, it ended, pop up so I can vote. But yeah, I had a blast. It was pretty fun.
Yeah. Dan, what about for you? Other than, of course, the fact that they went up $5, hopefully they don't go up to $25 next year.
$20 a ticket was a bit much. $15 to me was fair. That's a fair, because you figure
I do agree
you go
with
to
that.
the movie theater and buy a ticket, maybe get a soda or a popcorn or something. You're spending $15 by yourself. But if you got a wife and a kid or whatever, but $15 to me was fair. But $20 is a little excessive. But hey,
try telling that to Disney, who's charging like $30.
Yeah. So $15 was a little bit excessive, but no, I mean, I just got off work, and then the 24-hour window would be there, and I just get off work, I go watch a movie. If it like a couple I had at an exact time, I set my alarm to wake me up 15 minutes before the movie. Boom, turned it on. And I didn't get a lot of these right off the bat. I waited to the second ones because the first ones were sold out.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to pick and choose some of these second screenings. A couple of them I would have liked to. What is it, 892? I kind of missed that one.
Same.
Master, I would have liked to have gotten that. Resurrection. Those are 3 I kind of regret not getting now. But I'm really short on cash. I'm really struggling. So the fact that I was able to see 6 of these things for $20 a pop, I'm happy. And I feel like I saw 6 strong films.
I think the good news is, though, that like some ones like Master, because I was actually wanting to get that one as well, are actually, I believe, coming out like around March. So it's not like you have to wait that long. Yeah. Fresh as well. So.
Yeah, some of these are very quick, and to your point, Dan, you talked about some of these films that you wanted to see, and some of those, and we've kind of talked about our experience now, but I want to get into the films now that we've seen. Obviously, we just had the Audience Awards, and honestly, the past 2 years, we've had kind of like one film maybe take the majority of stuff, like Minari the year it came out, and then Coda the year that one came out. They took everything. A lot of the, as they say, the wealth was evenly distributed. I don't think many films got more than... The only movie that I think got more than one was The Territory, which got like audience and then like one other of the documentary features. But most of the stuff that I saw was like one, and it felt very evenly distributed, the films. And one of the ones I was kind of want to talk about is what we've seen this past this past week. We've kind of been hunched over our laptops, hunched over.
Crazy. It's only
to
been
our
a week.
TV.
I'm like,
I
it's
know.
only a week, and I've watched how many? Like, I was like, I feel like I've been at this festival for a whole month. Like, I'm exhausted.
Same.
And I'm doing 2 festivals. I'm doing Slam Dance.
Right. Yeah.
Oh wow, jeez.
So I've
It's
already watched 8 films in Slam Dance in 3 days.
It is amazing how the human body, when you're in a fight or flight mode, in this case, watching a film festival, how many you can get in before but your body's like, nope, can't do it anymore. I'm done.
Yeah, I think I'm only gonna do about 1 more if after the one I'm watching right. I'm in the middle of one right now. I stopped to do this, and then I got 1 more after that. I'm really gonna be stretching it if I do 10. I don't think I'm gonna do more than 10 because there isn't a lot of great films in Slam Dance compared to Sundance. But I found some interesting ones. I found some interesting ones.
Even there's like one that like I didn't love like at all, and I was like, must finish. Paid $20.
Right. You almost feel committed to finish it out. Yeah.
Well, that's what happened last year, and this is kind of a story because everybody that I know, and I don't know about Manning, but because I don't know how much we've talked about this, but everybody I know loved Prisoners of the Ghostland, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?
I missed it.
Absolute garbage, garbage."
Haven't
Don't
gone around
tell
on
me
that.
that's any good. Then it came out on. Then it came out on physical media and wherever streaming it might have got to, and people started seeing it. Oh man, this is good. I'm like, you guys just don't know what the hell you're talking about. I know all film is subjective, but that is trash.
62%.
All film is subjective, save for Prisoners of the Ghostland. That's the one exception to the rule when they were making that rule.
Thank you.
You're
Well, it's a
welcome.
Nick
You're welcome.
Cage movie.
Well, Pig is phenomenal.
It is.
And then everybody's like, Willy's Wonderland. I haven't seen it yet, but everybody's like raving about Willy's Wonderland. I'm like, all right, I have to check it out.
Is that the Nick Cage basically in Five Nights at Freddy's movie?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it either.
Now he's
Pig
goth,
is
apparently.
phenomenal. I mean, Pig is.
Lord.
I mean, I can't say enough about how amazing Pig is. So, I mean, what do you?
Yeah.
I guess.
Well-
Bruce Willis and Nick Cage are in the same boat though right now.
All right. So what I'm going to be saying right now is for the films that we've seen, there's been one that I'm pretty sure, actually, I know Dylan's seen this, and this was actually your favorite film of the festival. And the first one I want to talk about is because this was, I think, my number 2 this is my second favorite film of the festival. And that is Chad or Dan. I'm not sure if you guys seen this one. It's Cha Cha Real
No,
Smooth.
I
No,
knew what
you
it
didn't.
was. No.
well,
And now it's sold out everywhere, and I can't
Of course
see
it
it,
is.
so I'm bitter, but it's okay.
Well, don't worry, because it's probably going to be on Apple Apple TV Plus, or what have you later this year when they try to campaign it for, if not an Oscar, I don't know, the Independent Film Awards. So
Spirits, yeah. I think it could. I mean, Coda. It's Coda was the movie that everyone was like, "Damn, if this had only come out later in the year and been a bigger, release, it could have gotten Oscar buzz." And then it did because bigger movies that like were the front runners early on. If you remember, Clayton Davis had House of Gucci at number 1 at the beginning of award season. But yeah, it's like as the years gone on, some of these top movies, House of Gucci, Nightmare Alley, they're kind of slipping, and now Coda's getting in. So you never know. I mean, it could pull up, maybe not a Best Picture run, but at least maybe some screenplay, maybe even acting attention. I don't know. We'll see.
yeah, Cha Cha Real Smooth is just a really breezy, very fun, but also poignant and heartfelt film that feels very applicable to the young adult experience in the sense of like, wow, in this modern age of like, what am I doing with my life? And then by the end credits, I was kind of like, y'all didn't have to make me cry like that. You didn't have to do that. But like
in my review, I said it was like therapeutic almost. Like I was watching, I was like, this is like too close to home. Like almost like weirdly.
Is it like similar like Tick Tick Boom or whatever? Like what am I doing with my life?
Kind of, but for a little bit younger experience. Like I think Tick Tick Boom is more like Worst Person in the World age
like,
range,
for
but
me,
it's a
like
similar
30s.
idea. Yeah, exactly.
I would equate it more to think of it like as how Jonathan Larson in his life was like, I have an idea and a goal of what I want to do. This guy literally is like fresh out of young adulthood, or he's fresh out of teenagehood into young adulthood because he just graduated college. Jonathan Larson has been, I mean, even though I don't know how old he was in Tick Tick Boom, but he felt like he'd been there and he cemented he has a
Turning 30.
plan. Yeah.
He's got a whole song about
I've seen
it.
the movie. I saw the movie. I promise. But now I'm only thinking of Bo Burnham and Inside. So
and what's great, yeah, it's
Great,
like a
love
perfect
it.
trilogy there.
know.
But it's like it's interesting because the director himself, he is writing he's writing, producing, directing, and he is the starring role. And it's
Wow.
him basically
That's impressive.
writing in his own experience because he is like I think 25, 26. I don't know how old exactly, but he wrote Shithouse a few years ago when he was like either in college or right out of college, and now this is his second film. He's writing it in his mid-20s as a mid-20s person and getting to act it. So it's like feels like a fully authentic experience. It almost reminds me of like how like a Nomadland would cast, actual nomads of the time. It's a little bit different than that, but like kind of to get the real authenticity of what the story they were trying to tell was. And like, they were sleeping out of vans because they wanted that full experience. It's almost like method acting without even having to method act because it's just you. It's so autobiographical. So that was just an interesting little tidbit, just that he is this young guy. Like he's not a seasoned director. He is in his mid-20s. He's still making art as if he understands this experience because he's living it and he can relate so much to it.
It's impressive.
Yeah, and it's not it's a very straightforward film in the sense of like there is no like for those of you who saw The Cow Who Sang Into the Future, did anyone see that?
No.
Okay, that one's a very art house in this film of like, it's kind of ethereal. There's kind of there's some vivid imagery. It's kind of not true to life, fantastical. This one is very straightforward, cha-cha, real smooth. It is in the line of Coda, as we said, very like very great coming of age for a specific generation. And can we just talk about how amazing the chemistry between I think it's Cooper Raiff and Dakota Johnson.
Yeah.
The two of them, their chemistry is like fire, and I was so
Also a
invested
producer.
in that
Yeah.
relationship. Yeah. Look at Dakota Johnson. This and I Am Okay, like coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, produced 2 films, starred in them both, and did a really good job producing and starring in both of them. So, yeah, really impressive.
Yeah,
It is,
those,
and I just
Shades of Grey people are doing pretty good right now.
Yeah,
I
50
know,
Shades
look
of
at
Grey and
that.
Twilight, they're on the up and up. Robert Pattinson's Batman. Kristen Stewart hopefully will get an Oscar nomination. Not looking as clear now, but hopefully she does. And then Jamie Dornan also looking for an Oscar nomination. Also now Dakota Johnson. Everywhere. Lost Daughter.
Yeah.
This. Like it's crazy how they've really turned their careers around, and it shows it's not the actors, it's the material.
I was about to say it's almost like it's not a bad set of movies. It's not like it's the bad actor, it's the bad set of movies that they were possibly in.
I'll also say, Dill, don't act like you and I aren't Twilight fans.
Yeah, no, I enjoy them. I enjoy them because they are what they are, though. Like, yeah, it's like I enjoy them because they're bad, but it's enjoyable.
Am I wrong, Manny? Or did your girlfriend force you to watch all the Twilights? Like
The force is a strong word. Kimmy said like, "Hey, I want to watch this," and I was like, "Let's give it a try," because I feel like that's a big blind spot. It was a big cultural thing, and I was like, "I'm not gonna watch it because I'm a guy." During that middle, I don't know, whenever that came out. But I've only made it through the second one. I need to watch the rest of them.
Best, I think
It was solid.
All of them.
I don't like the second one that much, but the last couple and the first one I think are pretty great.
And
No,
Taylor Lautner's on the up and up too. He's on Jimmy Fallon this week. He's he's in a movie now. I forget what the name of it is, but he's in a movie. It might be a Netflix
good
movie.
for him.
I'm gonna look it up while y'all are
I
talking.
thought The Ridiculous Six destroyed his career.
I mean, if Adam Sandler can survive that, then I'm pretty sure Taylor Lautner maybe.
He
Adam
can
Sandler
survive pretty much
Uncut
anything.
Gems.
He's
It's a movie
rich
called
yeah.
Home Team on Netflix.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the new Kevin
Yeah.
James movie. I've heard it's not very good, but it's it tells the story of the New Orleans Saints head coach Sean Payton. Who I think just retired from coaching the Saints, which is really really ironic.
Can I just say something real quick?
Please.
Kevin James is Sean Payton. Really? Really?
No. That's
No.
doesn't look like him at all.
No.
I mean, come on, people. So he gets fired from the Saints for 1 year, and he goes and coaches some little Pop Warner football team, and that's what he did. And then Kevin James, they get him. Come on, give me a break. But I want to say something about Cha-Cha real smooth though, because I didn't get a chance to say something. That movie absolutely had me bawling in tears. I just want you guys to know that.
Right.
And that was an hour ago.
Hey.
Yeah. I watched this movie before this, and I was absolutely bawling in tears. You guys didn't see me an hour ago. Tears running down my face.
Nice.
Literally running down my face.
I got to see this damn movie.
Look, go on there again. Go on there again, Chad, today.
Let's see if I can get a
You might
ticket right now.
Be able to get a ticket. Don't quote me, but you might
I'm
be able to
going
get
right
one
now.
today. I'm not sure. I know tomorrow's
Probably
sold out.
not. Yeah.
Hey, you
It's
can't
probably not. I can
What's
probably
my
guarantee
password?
you that. Don't tell it out loud.
Yeah,
I
but,
won't.
it's so good.
it sucks that not everyone can see every film, but like, I hope
Yeah.
this is a good way to like at least like advertise the ones we're excited about. And I know Chad has some best of the fest that I haven't even seen either, so I'm excited to hear about those too.
So then, yeah, while that is the case, we have given our quick thoughts along the lines of like one of our favorites of this year, which is Cha Cha Real Smooth. Chad, excuse me, Chad, what are one of the films that you have seen this year at Sundance that you want to highlight?
That I want to highlight. Well, should I go
Yeah.
straight to the one that I enjoyed the most?
Yes, kind of give
Go
us
for
what
it.
your favorite.
Okay.
It could be just kind of one you enjoy. We're just kind of talking about the ones we really, really liked.
Well, yeah, it's actually the last one that I watched.
Nice.
And it was one of the first ones when I was looking through the films that it caught my eye, and it's Emily the Criminal. I was looking through and I just saw like a little picture of Aubrey Plaza looking all sus, and I was like, what's this movie? And I was like, I gotta check this out. And it's like all my friends who were doing it, like Dylan, were all watching this one, like second screening, pretty much. Pretty much the same day, different times, stuff.
Yeah,
like
it was my
that.
last.
But,
it was my last one as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Missed it.
I didn't know because I had gone through a lot of these movies that were all really deep. There were some horror ones in there, and I expected maybe a horror one might be one of my favorites. But this one, just like, I mean, it had a really good like messaging to it, talking about like the job market and like student loans piling up and stuff like that. It had a lot of great commentary in it. But then also just like the performances from Aubrey Plaza and Theo Rossi in this. Yeah, hell yeah, dude. I was excited too to see that this was a John Patton Ford directed this. And this dude, he hasn't directed like anything. They were talking about how he came out with the previous year, I think. He came out with like a short. And this was his first feature. Dude doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. Like Emily the Criminal has one, but he doesn't have one yet. So
yeah,
it's just really exciting to see that this movie, in my opinion, is really great. And I'm can't wait to see where he goes next, kind of a thing.
It's
And
amazing
also,
with
Aubrey
film festivals,
Plaza
how you can have like,
produced this one, too.
yeah, I was gonna say, Chad, along those lines, like it's nice to see new directors emerge from Sundance because usually they're either first or second. Like Cooper Ray for Cha Cha was second film. This was your director's first. Like it's really, really exciting that like this is a good platform for those directors to like find voices, because these might be like the directors we talk about as like this next wave of like the all-time greats. Who knows?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I also like with this film, just my last little point about it is that when Dylan came out and was like, I've been hearing a lot of people say this might be kind of like Uncut Gems. I was like, oh shit, okay, now I'm even more excited. And then I kind of got that vibe a little bit, but then I also got a lot of Breaking Bad vibes, and that's like one of my all-time
fascinating
favorite ever.
Did anybody pick this up?
Oh yeah.
Not yet, which is surprising because this feels like
it.
the most audience accessible. Like I think Cha Cha Real Smooth winning the audience award made sense because it was also just like a tearjerker, heartwarming. But I think in terms of like what you can market best, I think this is going to be one of those movies that they're going to have a very easy time getting people excited about this movie, because it's it's a big star, at least big enough. Aubrey Plaza, she's not like a mega star, but she's I think very well known, doing a more dramatic role. And it's just a crime thriller. Like I think it just has all the recipe to be like a really good sell for.
He was in a big one 2 years ago, Palm Springs in Sundance.
Yeah.
Everybody loved Palm Springs. Like, I say Palm Springs, because I was like everybody was raving about Palm Springs, and she was in that. Yeah, dang. I missed that one. There's a few, like I said, there's about 4 or 5 I would like to have seen, but it's just
yeah.
If my paycheck would have kind of set up a little bit better, I would have probably bought more tickets.
Well, I was about to say they'll be getting money out of you, Dan, if that was the case. To be draining everything. But what I was seeing was that there is a quick point to you, Dylan. Before Dan, I want to talk to you. I want you to tell me what one of your favorite films you saw at Sundance was. Is that you look back at like the winners of the Audience Award at Sundance? They kind of follow this pattern. Like there's kind of like this inspirational turn, like Precious won one of the
Mm.
years prior,
Mm.
Hustle and Flow
Yeah.
won that year as well, on one of the years. And then also, of course, Minari and Coda were some of the other ones that have won the Audience Award. So there is like this sense of, I mean, some of the films obviously we have never heard from again, but Sundance Audience Award is not a surefire bet to Oscars. That's not a thing. But it shows where a lot of the love is, and I think that Cha Cha Real Smooth falls into that place. And Emily the Criminal, it wasn't a part of the competition. It was just a premiere, correct?
Yes, it was a premiere screening. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, no, that's what I was under the impression of, because I missed it. Now you've gotten me excited to see it, Chad. I hope someone picks it up so I can see it now, because I was like, I have so many. I want to fit this one in, but I couldn't. So, man, I'm excited to see this.
It gave me a good call back to another one Aubrey movie I love, Ingrid Goes West.
Oh
So
yeah,
it was like, she's so great.
I remember that
love
one.
her.
Too.
Underrated.
She's been in the last 3 festivals now, right?
Yeah.
Aubrey
And
Plaza's in something?
she produced Emily the Criminal. So I can't. Maybe she'll direct soon. That would
Yo.
be amazing.
Maybe.
We'll have
It
to
seems
wait.
like she's had a film in all the last 2 or 3 festivals now. Palm Springs, Ingrid Goes West. Now this one. That's 3 in a row, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess this is her jam. These indie. If she's not getting the big budget kind of roles and things, she's just getting these. Go ahead.
She's an indie actress in the sense of like she doesn't feel like one of those big blockbusters. I feel like this is her wheelhouse. Like she loves this,
Yeah.
She's good at it. Yeah.
Dan?
Was Aubrey in Palm Springs though? I'm
No.
confused.
What?
I thought she was though.
Okay.
Who am I?
As
No,
a
she's a
supporting?
friend. She's a friend. Isn't she a friend of one of the main girls in it? Or something?
I don't.
Maybe I'm getting my movies mixed up then. It could be complete. It's my fault.
Well, Dan, tell me,
worries.
what have you seen?
Sorry guys. I'm just probably getting my movies mixed up then. I apologize.
Still
You're
a great
fine.
movie. Still a great movie.
You see as many as I do sometimes. Happiest season. Okay. No, Fresh. I'm not going to spoil this for Chad because he hasn't seen it. Up until an hour ago, Fresh was my #1 film of the festival. I only had 5 at that point. Then I got that one today. So now Cha Cha Real Smooth is my #1, but Fresh. Sebastian Stan. He's just got charisma for days. He's just a ladies' man. I mean, if I'm in the grocery store and this guy starts asking me about melons or whatever, okay, he's a good-looking guy. I'll start talking to him. It has a great message about dating and the types of people you date and how you have to just kind of be careful and have to try to understand your own self when you're in that kind of dating sphere. And especially if you're, in the younger people who are dating more than older people, you just got to kind of know who you are as a person, what you're looking for as a woman or a man who's looking to date potential suitors. The grocery store, finding people to date at the grocery store is kind of an old hat type of thing, but I guess it works for this film. But yeah, I like the chemistry between the 2 leads. Obviously, Sebastian Stan. I can't think of the other girl's name.
Daisy Edgar Jones. Yeah.
Daisy
From
Edgar
Normal
Jones.
People,
first-
which I haven't watched.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think
Okay.
she's done a lot of film, but yeah, she's big in TV.
But I just really, really enjoyed this. And I'm not a big horror guy, but we are living in a renaissance of horror right now. Yeah, we get every once in a while the Halloween Kills, but then we get the Fresh or the Raws or the you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I really, really enjoy. I know some people didn't like this. Is divisive for people, but I needed something different, and I got.
It was kind of weird because I was going for horror, And the only reason I skipped Fresh was because I was like, oh, it's coming to Hulu in March.
Right.
Now,
yeah.
like, dang it.
And just
It's-
because it
it's
was
the best one, maybe.
yeah,
I like it a lot, but it's divisive, Chad. I'm not going to say another word about it. It's just divisive.
Yeah. I like what you
Of
said, Dan,
course.
about like the aspect of horror and how horror itself is just changing. And I like how it's like we're seeing films now like Get Out, like this, where like it's horror with commentary blended together, and it's cool because instead of just hitting you over the head with commentary or just going full-fledged horror, you get to kind of mix the two, and it becomes like kind of a 2-in-1, buy one get one free. So it's great.
Yeah, you do have two kind of a relationship movie and a horror movie jammed together, and it works. I hope people love this movie when they get a chance to see it on streaming in a couple of months, because and that's what I love about festivals. You go into these movies, you don't know what you're getting. It's just a grab bag of all kinds of different things.
Yeah.
You get the Prisoners of the Ghost Clan. Sometimes you get the cha-cha real smooth and the Dakotas and the mass and the
give or take.
and the jockeys. You get. I mean, I had such a great time last year. This year, oh my God, Living. Oh, I cannot say enough about Living, guys.
Cool.
Well, what I'll quickly add to the fact is that Fresh, which I find interesting, is that it was one of the first films right out the gate that people were like praising, and they're like, yeah, I love this, and it was picked up immediately, which I find to be really impressive. Like it was picked up before. Which, speaking of being picked up, Josephine DeMarco says, game of imaginary studio pickups. Pick random films from the festival for each studio. A24, Neon, IFC, Sony Pictures Classics, Jonas Films. I didn't realize they were a thing until Drive My Car, so surprising. And Psy, Bleecker Street.
Oh, Bleecker Street. Oh man, the worst Oscar campaigners ever. There's no reason, and I'm not even the biggest fan of the movie because, like, I think a lot of people have it at number 1 of the year, but Mass should not be a 0 nominee movie. It just shouldn't. And Bleecker Street, I think, did a bad job marketing it. No offense to Bleecker Street, but it should be a movie that at least gets an acting nomination or a screenplay nomination.
Hold on a second, Dylan. Have you guys heard of Sundown?
No.
Guess who produces? Who picked that up out of Toronto? Bleecker Street. Go figure. This movie, I reviewed it last week, and interesting movie, but very good performance from Tim Roth, but nobody heard of it. There you go, Bleecker Street.
Which I will say, because we only have a few 30 more minutes left before we have to wrap up and everything. What I want to be able to say was that what I'll quickly say is that I don't think Bleecker Street, which brings me to a quick conversation, is I don't think Bleecker Street's going to pick up anything this time because Mask was their one chance to do something and they've dropped the ball on that. That's what I'll finish with that conversation.
Sony Pictures Classic already got Living.
They did.
Right.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. A24 got a bunch, and it got a lot even before the festival, because I remember I know Chad saw this, but After Yang was one that I saw that already had the A24 banner on there because I guess it was already premiered at Cannes, and then this, and also the Jesse Eisenberg film also had the A24 already smacked on there before it even started. So I was like, wow, like A24 got there early, got there before the movies even started.
Has Duel been picked up yet
this year?
Duel has not been picked up yet, but what I will say before we get into that discussion is, Dylan, you are a big fan of Duel. Would you consider that to be one of your favorites of the fest?
It was in my top 5. It was like my number 5. Yeah, I liked it. I think it's even more divisive than Fresh is, and I was surprised. I honestly thought it got across exactly what it was trying to do. It was a cool sci-fi concept. I think it's the best concept of any of the movies at the festival. Just such a brilliant idea of clones having to fight each other to pick which one gets to live on as the real person. And then, and I think the execution, the dark comedy was really smart. Obviously Manning and I have even talked about the ending. It goes away you don't expect. And I see that part being divisive, but the film as a whole, a lot of people just didn't like it for like the comedy or the performances. And I think it's one of those films where you kind of have to understand what it's doing and what it's trying to say. And like, you're either on board or not from the start. It's not like one of those movies that can like lose you with its tone or its like actual acting. It's more of just like the actual ending narrative choices could, be the thing that, makes you a little bit more divisive on the end. But yeah, I really like that one.
I was really interested to see Duel because of Aaron Paul, but he was actually kind of one of my least favorite parts of the movie. I didn't really care for his character that much in it.
Really?
I really loved Karen Gillan in it. She played like a great dual role, but like when I was like watching the movie, I was like, this movie like seems so much like another movie that I really love, The Art of Self-Defense. And then I was like, this is so similar to that movie. I wonder if it have any connection. And then I was like, oh wait, same director? Oh my God. Okay. And so now I'm wondering if maybe Bleecker Street will get Duel as well, because that has The Art of Self-Defense. But yeah, I love the style of Riley Stearns, because he has like all of his characters speak the matter of fact, like literal dialogue. And it's like, it can be off-putting if you just like if you don't like that, but like I love that style. I just think the humor with that is so good. And it was just a really interesting concept.
Duel was acquired, actually, as we speak, by RLJE Films. So it will be getting a theatrical release, which is a business unit of AMC Networks. So,
thank you.
Which is a good distributor, because they seem to be
might be a AMC
sci-fi
Spotlight type of deal.
Yeah, maybe.
And they have their physical media company, I believe.
Oh, interesting.
They have. I think they have a subsidiary of their company that's physical media. So they'll probably jump right into physical media as soon as its theatrical run is over.
It's funny, Breaking Bad on AMC, and now Aaron Paul, another AMC product. So
he's just staying in house, I guess.
Yeah.
What I will say about Duel is what I didn't work. I guess, Dylan, I really do enjoy the concept of Duel. The concept of that first 15 minutes. Boom, I was in there. And even like until like the third act, when I won't spoil it, but we kind of get an idea where things when it starts to take that turn, that's when it lost me. I was not really the fan of how it started to play out, because it felt like I mean, it's a very nihilistic film. I'm not going to deny that, very dour and cynical. But it didn't feel true to the characters, to where I completely disconnected with them at that very last little minute. And I understand that what they were going for, it just did not work for me personally, because I was actually really the dry humor, the way they presented, I was laughing. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's why like people are criticizing about for that aspect. I'm like, but that was what was the charm of it. Like the ending is something I totally agree with being divisive. Like it makes sense. Even I wasn't satisfied with the ending. It's just like I was like, but I get it. But yeah, like it was one of those endings where I appreciate it, but I was like, but I wish I could have seen something else. But that's just I guess what they were trying to tell. But
it was Riley Stearns' that's his name, right? Riley Stearns.
Yeah.
That's his that was his choice, and he went with it, and I respect that. All right. One of the films that I really loved, and this is one of the two. Cha Cha Real Smooth is one that I heard good buzz, picked it up immediately for the second screening. Another one, the second day on a Friday, that I grabbed immediately was my favorite documentary and my favorite film of the entire festival, and that was Fire of Love, the documentary in regards to in regards to the doomed couple. It is. Has anyone seen Fire of Love here?
No. I didn't see any documentaries, unfortunately.
That was my favorite. It was my favorite one based upon it was telling a story of love and tragedy at the same time. These two people found each other, and they, through a shared passion, they went to become, they were volcanologists before they met each other. Then they kind of continued that passion together. And through that, they ultimately, no spoiler alert, because they tell you immediately within the first 10 minutes, they die. And it's about their journey together as a couple, traversing the different volcanoes, and it's really gripping, visually interesting. I forgot the name of the director, but she killed it. It is a beautiful. It won like editing, I believe. Well, I guess the equivalent to editing there for documentary there at the Sundance, and I think it's really apropos because the way they went through all that footage. It's incredibly impressive. Also doing these great animatics and these graphics to go along with it to tell a very compelling narrative, even though it's obviously a documentary. I cared about these two people and the way they revealed their characters and asked these questions about love and the poignancy of how these two people found something together, and they founded something together. Excuse me. It was just very beautiful to where I was like, wow, I'm crying near the end. And the music to that, listen to the music. Most Sundance films this year had phenomenal music. I just noticed that immediately, and I was just like,
Maybe
Taken back.
maybe it'll be this year's My Octopus Teacher.
Hey,
Maybe.
Nat Geo picked it up. So
Nat Geo did pick it up, and I saw from the still, I was like, this is a beautiful still, because
It
as
is.
Dan said, you can only go on the one photo to pick what movies you're gonna pick. And I was like, that one photo was gorgeous. I'm like, it doesn't surprise me that Nat Geo picked it up. I also believe it picked up the one that won. I forget the name of it. It starts with a V. The Village, is it The Village? I don't know what it was called. But yeah, like I think they picked up two big documentaries, and I could see that being something that goes in theaters like a free solo and then ends up on Disney Plus.
That platform is perfect, because how many people are on Disney Plus, and then they hear these docs are on Nat Geo, that's on there, like, oh well, mom and dad can go in there and watch some documentaries while the kiddos are watching Luca and Encanto, and then the teenagers are watching the Marvel stuff, and the Star Wars stuff, and so they're making their streaming service for everybody, which is kind of what you really need to do. And that's kind of what Netflix has done too. They've done it for and I'm just on a side note, The Rescue that Ron Howard is directing moved its release date to November so they can capitalize on awards season this year. So we'll see if the regular movie based on The Rescue gets some awards coverage this coming year.
Yeah, and it doesn't start with a V. I was wrong. It's The Territory, the one that won the World Cinema Documentary for Audience Award. Nat Geo also picked that up. So now it's got Fire, Love, and The Territory going to Nat Geo, which will hopefully be in theaters and then again on Disney Plus afterwards.
Does it say when they're going to be on there, or is it just whatever?
No.
Okay. But
go ahead, Dan. No, please,
I was
go
gonna
ahead.
say, I don't know if anybody saw Happening or not. I wanted to tell you guys about Happening. Happening is about a woman who inadvertently gets pregnant in the 1960s and is going around, and she's in France, and she's going around trying to see if she can get an abortion. Oh my God. Great performance from the lead actress in it. But it just tells you how difficult that subject matter is, and it's a very good movie though. So I know that's not for a bunch of dudes, about a woman who gets pregnant and wants to try to get an abortion. That's not a kind of a dude's movie, but
I don't necessarily think it needs to be a dude's movie. I think it is a compelling film.
If anything, I think it's more important that men are introduced to this subject, because women have been actually experiencing it first-handedly, for obviously forever. So yeah, it's interesting that there's a more mainstream appeal for movies like this, and the movies we saw about this, like even the past few years, like Never Really, Sometimes Always, was not a big critical hit. And I think, or was a big critical hit. It wasn't a big audience hit. Yeah.
Nobody
There's another film. There was another film at the festival this year, Sundance, called Call Jane, which was a more. It reminded me of like telling Never Rarely Sometimes Always through the lens of like The Help or Green Book. Not to say that it's like those movies, but kind of like that really audience friendly tone, like something that I think could be more of a crowd pleaser that I think will hopefully get people talking about the subject. So
I went to get a ticket for it and it was sold out. Both showings were sold out. I was like, dang it, man. I want to see that. I saw Elizabeth Banks was in it. I was like, dang, I want to see that. And I missed it. But I think, I don't know how many of y'all saw After Yang, but I just want to bring this up.
Well, quickly, Dan, before we go into another film, I'm going to go Chad's and then we can go into you. Dan, so Chad, tell me, what was a film that you really enjoyed so we can go in continual circle?
Well, since because Dan's the one he brought up is my number 2, but
okay, you can
I'll highlight
talk about it if you want.
I'll highlight a different film, and then circle back to that. The one that I picked up kind of last. I just added this one because I was like, oh snap, that one is kind of a horror movie. Was a Resurrection, and if anything, with this movie, I loved the tension in this movie. I loved the performances because you have Rebecca Hall and Tim Roth, and the music. Just like everything about this movie is there's just a mystery, a question of who's this guy and why is he. Who was he to her in her life, and why she's so freaking scared of him? And that's pretty much the whole movie. You find out, as it goes on, but like just the way they did the tension Rebecca Hall is always phenomenal. She was in The Night House, which is another really great horror film. I won't say fun because it was a really good mystery. She just really knows how to do these like really great thrillers, and so that's why I wanted to pick that one up, and I really enjoyed it. I know a lot of people get kind of weird about the ending because it is a very strange ending.
I've heard about that.
Yeah, it's very
the
strange.
ending was my favorite part. The ending is what actually sold me on the movie because getting there, I was like, this is good, just kind of like your own stereotypical cat and mouse thriller. I'm like, why is this different than any of the rest? And then the ending comes, I was like, oh, okay, this is why.
Yeah, I dug it too, actually.
Yeah, and it's going to Shudder, so like I didn't expect it to even be a horror film. It seemed more thriller, but it's going to Shudder, which I don't know if that's great for like Oscar chances, just because it is a smaller streaming service. It's for horror fans, it hasn't really expanded, but maybe this will expand it because it's more than just a horror. It's more of a character piece thriller. Maybe it will bring new eyes to that streaming service, which could be huge for them.
But you can get Shudder on Amazon Prime as an add-on. So Amazon Prime, people that have Amazon Prime, you get Shudder it's only $5 extra, and you're getting this entire catalog of horror.
And then hopefully people can go in and see other great Shudder films like Mandy and Revenge and stuff like that.
Yep.
So what I'll ask real fast about Resurrection is most people said that Rebecca Hall was phenomenal, that she was one of the best in show. While we're going to go around one more time, but I want to talk about your favorite performances of this past year. But first, or this past Sundance, Dan, what was another film you mentioned After Yang? Is that the one you want to highlight now?
Because I know I don't know how many of us saw After Yang. Did everybody see After Yang?
I think we all saw it.
We all saw it. Cool.
All right. So I just want to say, I watched this movie. In the beginning of this movie, I was like grinning from ear to ear. I freaking loved the beginning of this movie.
Beginning's great.
Because everybody's talking about Peacemaker in the beginning of Peacemaker. And I'm like, oh, look at this. This might rival the beginning of Peacemaker. Yeah. Because everybody's like, oh, Peacemaker. That was so much fun. Then you get to see all those people in the beginning of the movie throughout the rest of the movie. And then it kind of just... it kind of goes downhill. It just drags. It just drags me down right with it. Of all the movies, it's got the best beginning, if you ask me. I think it's even better than Duel. But my best performance is Bill Nighy. Hands down, gives the best performance of the entire. I hope he's in the Oscar contention next year because I think he is amazing and living. That's
Sony Pictures Classics. They have a history.
Yep.
I that one, but I love Bill Nighy.
Has he been nominated for an Oscar before? He got nominated for a BAFTA, but not an Oscar, right?
I don't think so.
No. I was gonna say that is also my favorite score of the year was After Yang. So like it chats out with music, like great year for music, just in general, and that was a gorgeous score.
Yeah, I remember messaging Dill like during the movie, like, bro, the score.
It's great. It's great.
But it's got some under the radar, like under the line things that could get nominated for living. And that's like costumes and stuff like that. I love the time period it was set in. The bowler hats and stuff. I kind of like it now. But yeah, wow, Bill Nighy. Oh my God. That's my
I need to check this movie out now.
Yeah, same. Bill Nighy. I need to see
Bill Nighy. I'm not gonna say a word about it, but he's amazing. Nice. Nobody saw
I've heard that.
I've heard that.
Bill
No.
Nighy's great in it.
Oh wow. Oh man.
You're special, Dan.
This could be your coda. This could be the one that when it's nominated next year, you'd be like,
it'll be a poster right behind him.
There you go.
Bill Nighy.
All right, so Dylan, what was another film you want to highlight? And of course, what do you think is the best performance or your favorite performance of Sundance?
This is tough. Like Rebecca Hall is definitely up there, and of course the actors in Cha Cha are real smooth. But I'm actually this might be a cheat. This was a film that came out technically 2021. It's already been internationally. But Renate Rinsby, I don't know if that's how you pronounce her name. Worst person in the world. If she's not going to get nominated for Best Actress.
Well, don't count her out. Don't count her out. She won my critics group.
I don't want to
Best
counter out
Picture.
because she was incredible and that film was incredible. I know it's technically last year's film. It was one in their category of like revivals of movies they were bringing back from like earlier festivals, in this case Cannes Film Festival, but this was the first film I saw at the festival, the first like new film I saw in the festival. I think Chad did too. And I was just blown away. I was like, wow, this is a great movie. I saw a tweet that also said if it was in English, it would probably be picking up Best Picture, Best Screenplay, and Best Actress, because it's one of those films that I think, because it's international, it wouldn't have the same traction. Because I think this could be a film that could get so many more nominations, if not. And I know it's this Oscar season, but welcome back, Manning.
I don't know
Yeah,
what happened there. I apologize. Keep going.
yeah, but no, but she was my best performance of the ones we haven't talked about yet. Like I'd probably pick a different one, but like that was like the one that we haven't mentioned yet that I really wanted to, because she was incredible.
Yeah.
That movie just destroyed me too.
Yeah.
I want to mention something about that movie. Yeah, like just as we were talking about before, where we talked about like reaching a certain point, like age 30, like, you know, and then you think about the rest of your life, like, you know, what am I doing? Am I in the right place right now? Am I with the right person? Should I be doing something else? You know, we all reach that point. We all think about this, and that's kind of what that movie was about. And I think they explored that so well. I agree with Dill that was a great performance. I even love some of the other performances in that, like the guy that she's with in the beginning. You know, I won't say anything else, but
Anderson Lee, yeah,
he's so good, guys.
Like, some of the choices and risks that the filmmaker took with this one was just so interesting, and you're just like, oh, you're gonna go that route, okay, that's really cool. And then some of the things you're like, was that done practically? Yes, it was done practically. So, you know, he confirmed it in the Q&A.
It just came out in theaters in New York, and I'm like, I'm going.
There you go.
Cool. Snow melts, I will be there.
Oh yes, good luck with that, with the storm. What I will also add quickly about Worst Person in the World, I freaking adored The Worst Person in the World. I was thinking that the hype could be over hype is a thing, but I feel like this is a kind of a companion piece to Cha Cha Real Smooth, because they deal with similar themes about finding yourself and trying to be a young adult in this day and age. And this does it in a very, it's not the same, it's not a one-to-one comparison, but the themes are similar. And I feel like what they were able to do in this film, like there's some really raw and emotional scene, and I won't spoil it, but there's one scene with Renee Rinsby and Anderson Daniels Lee that's kind of like right after the big freeze time freezes, that it's like it's
La La
just,
Land moment.
Yeah, right after that entire sequence till after they talk is my favorite section of the movie, because it's so emotionally raw and poignant, and a very vulnerable film, because it's not afraid to ask these difficult questions and to have the characters ask these difficult questions to each other. So I really appreciate that. And I know we have to wrap up here, so what I'll quickly add for mine is two things. One, my favorite performance of the year, and another documentary that I want to highlight as well too. But my favorite performance of the Sundance this year that I've seen is actually the one that won the ensemble. It's John Boyega in 892.
Gotta see that one.
It is, he brings such empathy and such kind of a quiet, calm nature, but also he can be unhinged in some portions. By that meaning, like he is a Marine, and he's someone who's at the former Marine, excuse me, honorable discharge. He has lost basically everything to the Veteran Affairs, and they have not given him what is needed, and it kind of shows the failing of a system, and how a system. That's kind of a theme for a lot of films, the failing of systems and how they can really let us down. Look at God's Country as well. Another one, Aftermath, another one, just kind of how systems can fail us. And I think this is another great companion piece along those lines. So John Boyega is great. I hope he gets into some sort of conversation, at least with the best actor, because he is, he steals the scene, every scene that he's in. I forgot it was him at some points too, which is really cool, because I'm like, this isn't Finn, this is John Boyega playing Lance Corporal. What's his name? But that's his title, Lance Corporal. And then finally, one of my other favorite documentaries, it's like second favorite at this point, I believe, and that is Navalny, the winner of the audience like overall fest. It took the top prize, coming out last minute, which I'm pretty sure it was because either A, they were still trying to get some details, or two, they were nervous because Russia, and I don't
Yeah.
know why, because it's
Right.
international, which I'm pretty sure is the case. I don't know, but Navalny won both the audience favorite for documentary and film fest overall. So congratulations to that
Nice.
documentary. I find it to be a really
that
compelling. Has anyone seen Navalny?
No,
Mhm.
I saw it was a last minute edition. I was like, oh, there's one
Yes.
last minute. I should have picked up on the fact that like they were saving it for last for a reason. But yeah, I'll have to check it out.
It
HBO
is.
Max. It's going to HBO Max. So
Oh,
Can
is
I,
it
uh,
really?
It is.
Oh,
Can I
great.
throw out some speak about After Gang real quick and my best performance?
Yes, I'll quickly just to say, like, yes, Navalny, great. Go see it when you get a chance. It's a really great. If you don't know who Navalny is, Alexei Navalny, who is a political activist and Putin's staunchest critic, we'll say. It's about his life after he has been poisoned by the Russia's Federal Secret Service. So go check that out. And his basically defiance. It's a great. If you don't know who he is, you will still find it to be a very thrilling and compelling documentary. So Chad, tell me what your favorite performance is and another film that you want to highlight, or maybe they're one and the same.
Yeah, it was basically After Yang. We already mentioned it was my number 2 because I just think it was one of the most emotionally affecting movies. Like again, I haven't seen Cha Cha Real Smooth yet, but this one for me was probably the most emotionally affecting, and I loved it throughout, honestly, and I just thought that like it was a really great kind of like vestibule to just like talk about life as with this robot that people love, and just you kind of contemplate death and just like if there's anything after this mortal coil, and I just thought it was a great exploration of that. And just everything else with the movie I just thought was so great, and all the performances. But yeah, that was definitely one I wanted to highlight because I just remember being like, wow, this movie. And then the wife's over there crying like her eyes after this movie. And I'm like, wow, okay.
Look, I didn't get that emotional. I didn't get as emotional about that movie as you did, Chad. It just seemed like it just was meandering and going nowhere, and it just was
Really?
slow and plotting to me. It just was just dragging me down.
Different things hit for different people sometimes.
Yeah. It was just so exciting at the beginning, and then it's just.
The wife hadn't cried at something that hard, I think, since Pig. So,
Oh wow.
anyways, my best performance I'd throw out. I gotta give it to Aubrey. I talked about her before, but it's just like Emily the Criminal, Aubrey Plaza. It's just like her character arc throughout. I just love these types of arcs, and I just thought like she showed that like really desperate need to get more money and just like do something even if it's not the right thing, and then I just love seeing her go down that path, and then like there's certain things that happen to her, and then she's like, no, I'm not going to stand for this shit. This ends now, and I'm like, yes. So
Cathartic then.
yeah, I loved her. Yeah.
We all probably wish we could become criminals if we could get away with it. Probably.
Not really. I like being a law-abiding citizen.
Come on, man! You don't tell me you don't have a little bit of-
Listen. Okay, let me add. I'm a square. No, you can ask my girlfriend. I am a square through and through. I'm the type of person that's like, let's follow the rules because they're here for a reason. Although if the rules are unjust, then we'll have some qualms and whatnot. But most of the time, you know what? You don't cross the street until there's an actual cross sign. I'm one of those people. People don't like me for that. Understandable.
I mean, Dylan probably disagrees. He lives in New York City, so
yeah, you got to jaywalk. But
Okay,
that's the
well-
only thing I'll do. That's the only thing I'll do.
And
I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
we have it live though. We have it on tape. You jaywalk. I'm kidding.
Oh gosh. Hope they don't
But no,
find me.
what we will end with before we wrap up is that what were the top 5? I know some of you haven't
Dylan
seen.
the Criminal.
Daniel the Criminal. Tell me what your top 5 of this Sundance were. So Dan, what were the top 5 that you have seen? You can do a quick ranking and then wrap up.
Well, I only saw 6, so my 5 was Duel, 4 was Happening, 3 was Living, 2 was Fresh, and 1 was Cha Cha Real Smooth.
All right, Dylan, what about for you? What are your top 5 that you saw?
Me? Number 5 was Duel. Number 4 was one we haven't talked about, but go check it out. Brian and Charles. Very interesting film. The short film is available for people to watch, but the feature film just got picked up, and it is good. 3 was Worst Person in the World. 2 was Fresh, and 1 was Cha Cha Real Smooth.
Oh, so me and you had the same 2 and 1 and 2.
Yeah, and
Dylan?
5. Yeah.
And 5. Yeah.
All right. And then Chad, tell me, go ahead and what your top 5 are.
Absolutely. My top 5. One we didn't talk about is my number 5, Hatching, a really good horror film.
Oh yeah.
4, Resurrection. 3, The Worst Person in the World. 2, After Yang, and then 1 is Emily the Criminal. I love that damn one.
Oh,
Thing.
fantastic.
Yeah, I did hear good things about Hatching.
Mhm.
All right. And so for me, it is my number 5 is 892. My number 4 is The Worst Person in the World. But, if we're not doing, if we're technically, it has to be this year, then it's actually Free Chol Soo Lee. I forgot I had that above Navalny, which is actually a really great documentary for something I had no idea transpired because I had no idea. I'd encourage you all to go look that up for an incident that actually happened where he was a man named a Korean American known as Chol Soo Lee was wrongfully imprisoned, and so it's basically the journey to get him out of the prison system. Another failing of the system. What do you know?
A Curtis Flowers type of deal.
Yeah. So I recommend you all do that. But if we're not counting that, then it is 892. Number 5, number 4, Worst Person in the World. Number 3 was Emergency, which I find to be actually a really compelling, funny, dark, but poignant film that has an amazing chemistry between its cast. It's actually one of my favorites, as you know, and
It
the
won the
screenplay
screenplay
nomination.
award,
I think it's incredibly deserved, truthfully.
Nice.
It balances tones excellently, which Alice does not. I just want to throw that out there because that's one of my least favorites of the festival. No one saw Alice.
Yeah, I didn't see Alice, but yeah, I agree with Chad. Sharp Stick was anything but sharp. It was very dull.
Yeah, I'm just not a Lena Dunham fan, so I just avoided that.
Same.
All right, and number 2, Cha Cha Real Smooth, and number 1, Fire of Love. I love that documentary.
Nice.
All right, so we're going to wrap this up here. I wanted to give a brief Sundance. There's a lot more we could talk about. There were so many films we could talk about, but I wanted to highlight some of the ones that we wanted to get off our chest and kind of bring that out into the ether. So, Chad, where can the people find you?
All right, yeah. I mean, I'm all over the place in the Movie Trivia Schmodown fan leagues. I do debate. I do trivia. I do Picture This over on Dill's channel. I'm sure he's going to talk all about his channel. So I'll just highlight that we're doing next month. We're doing 1967, and then we're going to do the Oscars in March. So we have a fun couple of months coming out, and basically, what we do for that show is every month we do a year of the Oscars. We go through all the Best Picture nominees, the winners, and we talk about them. We rank them. We highlight a lot of the actors and actresses from those years in those given films. We had Dan on recently, and he was great. He went off on a couple things. We'd love to have him on again.
Amazing rants. Amazing.
For another year. And we always have a blast with that one. I rank some stuff on my own channel. I'm trying to get that up a little bit. It's just my name, Chadwick Webb. That's about it.
Manning, you're muted again.
Muted yet.
Dylan, where can they find you? Picture This, I'm assuming.
Yeah, what Chad said, Dill Pickle Movie Network started it about a year ago. It's still going strong. My actual Sundance Best of the Fest video is there where I go in depth with a few more of these films, including Brian and Charles, which is so weirdly funny. You guys check it out. But yeah, it was a really, really fun year. Picture This is a great show. Chad is a great co-host, and Dan was really fun as a guest, having on talking about Raging Bull and Tess and Ordinary People and all these other movies. So yeah, Chad said we're doing 1967 next. We'll do 2021 after that. Hopefully we'll talk about another Sundance film, Coda, then, unless some big shocker happens, but we'll see.
Oh, Dan loves Ordinary People.
Spoiler alert. I can't wait to hear that. All right, Dan, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me at DP Skip Allen on all kinds of social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Letterbox, From the Fourth Row. Some of those are From the Fourth Row. Or you can find my written reviews. I'm a film critic in Orlando, Florida at disappointmentmedia.com. I write all kinds of things, anniversaries, retrospectives, TV show reviews, new movie reviews. Haven't got a lot of those, so I've been doing a lot of other things just to keep the articles going there. And my own personal blog, which I'm going to be covering a lot of the Slam Dance films that I'm seeing on my blog, fromthefourthrow.wordpress.com.
All right. And for me, you can find me at Twitter at Cine_man. That's CINE_MANN, as well as hosting here, Gone with the Wind, for our special and our regular episodes. And of course, you can find us on Spotify, on Apple Podcast, Anchor, wherever you find your podcast, you can find Gone with the Wind, as well as right here on Take 3 Productions. And you can find me at WFMY News 2, where I review in our segment called News 2 Reviews. This past week, I had a movie a day that I reviewed for y'all, which I'm not going to do again because that was very difficult and taxing on top of my other work. So look forward to just one a week now coming
You got
forward.
links to all that? Can you send me some links to these?
I
things?
will. I will absolutely send you all the links once I wrap
Okay.
this up because, again, I have to work later tonight. Thank you guys again for joining us on this other episode of Gone with the Wind special edition of Sundance Report. I don't have a title for this. We're just going to call it the best of Sundance, like the title says. So thank you guys again. And we look forward to seeing you on the next episode this coming Tuesday of Gone with the Wind, where we react to PGA, DGA, AC, Ace Eddies. I combined Ace Eddies and Aces. Ace Eddies and WGA. Thank you guys. Have a great rest.